In Module 2, we've built configuration control, requirements as the definition, change control to evolve it, baselines as a frozen reference points. But all of that lived in one domain. In a real company, that control can't stay in one tool. Your requirements live in one system, your design in another, your manufacturing in the third, and your business and finance in fourth. And every time work crosses from one to the next, control either survives or dies. This module is about connecting those worlds without losing what you've built. And it starts with the most misunderstood idea in the field. Integration is not about connecting everything, it's about connecting the right things and deliberately not connecting the rest.
Digital transformation time. Digital transformation time.
I am Sergey Irisov. I've built the connected backbone for green aviation and nuclear. ALM, PLM, ERP, MES. In those worlds, if your systems don't agree, you can't certify. And if you overconnect them, you will build a tangled mess no small team can maintain. So I had to be surgical about where the connections go. Two promises. If you're a founder, you'll stop seeing integration as a giant IT project to buy. You'll start see it as a few high-value decisions about boundaries. If you're a tech lead, you'll get a clear way to decide which connections to build first and which to never build. And you'll see why the boundaries between systems matter as much as the links across them. Let me start by naming these four worlds. Most people can't even say them clearly. There are four worlds in most engineering companies. People throw the acronyms around. ALM, PLM, ERP, MES. But almost nobody states cleanly what each one owns. And you can't decide what to connect until you know that. So, plainly. First, ALM, Application Lifecycle Management. This is the world of requirements. Often the software and systems engineering side too. What the product must do, how it's specified, verified, and validated. If your product has a software or complex behavior, this is where the what and the why live. Think of ALM as the world of intent and proof. Second, PLM, Product Lifecycle Management. This is the world of the design, the CAD, the EBOM, the configurations, the engineering changes. ALM owns what must it do, PLM owns what is it as engineered. This is the world of the design truth. Third, ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. This is the business world, orders, purchasing, inventory, finance, suppliers, cost. ERP doesn't care how elegant your design is. It cares what it costs, what's in stock, what's in order, whether you can deliver. This is the world of business and money. Fourth, MES, Manufacturing Execution System. This is the shop floor world, the actual making of the thing, work orders, routing, operations, what was built by whom against which instructions. This is the world of execution and proof of build. So, ALM is intent and proof. PLM is the design truth. ERP is business and money. MES is execution. Four worlds, four owners, and here's what makes integration hard. The same real-world object shows up in all four wearing different clothes. A part is a requirement target in ALM, a designed component in PLM, a purchased item with a cost in ERP, a thing to be assembled on a route in MES. One object, four meanings. Connecting them isn't about wires, it's about meaning crossing boundaries without getting lost. Keep that in mind. It's the whole game. Now, the mistake almost everyone makes. They decide to integrate, and they think the goal is to connect everything to everything. Every system talking to every other system, data flowing freely in all directions. It sounds modern. It sounds like the digital thread. It's a disaster. Picture 4 systems. You draw a line between every pair, then between every submodule. You get a web of point-to-point connections. Nobody fully understands it. It breaks every time one system updates, and a small team can never maintain it. The field has a name for this: spaghetti integration. It's how companies end up with a connected mess that's worse than no integration at all. Because now the failures are invisible and tangled. Why does this happen? Two reasons. First, it feels thorough. We connected everything sounds responsible. Second, vendors are happy to sell you every connection. Each one is billable. But more connections is not more control. Past a point, more connections is less control. Because the complexity outruns your ability to govern it. The skill isn't maximizing connections, it's choosing the few that carry real value and refusing the rest. There is a standard built to stop the spaghetti. Every founder and tech lead in hardware should know it exists. ISA 95, also published internationally as IEC 62264. Don't switch off at the acronym. What it gives you is simple and powerful. A shared map of which system owns what, and where the boundaries between them sit. It organizes the stack into levels: the physical process and control at the bottom, the MES operations layer in the middle, the ERP business layer at the top. And it defines the boundary between them and what should cross it. Here is what matters for a small team. ISO 95 cares about one boundary above all: the line between MES and ERP. Execution on the shop floor and business planning in the office. That single boundary is where most integration pain lives and most audit risk. ERP plans production and accounts for it. MES executes production and proves it happened. ERP says, make 100 of this by Friday. MES says, here is what we made, from what, by whom, against which baseline. When that boundary is clean, execution is disciplined and your audits are defensible. When it's blurred, both systems think they own the same data, and you get endless reconciliation work. Your evidence gets weaker, not stronger. So the lesson from ISO 95 isn't buy this standard. It's a way of thinking. Integration is about clean boundaries and the specific information that crosses them. It's not about dissolving the boundaries so everything blurs together. Good fences, specific gates. That's the opposite of spaghetti. So if you don't connect everything, what do you connect? Here are the high-value links, the ones that carry real control across a boundary. Build this first. Link 1, ALM to PLM, requirements to design. This is traceability crossing a boundary. Every design in PLM links back to the requirement in ALM that justifies it. This is the single most valuable link for certification. It's what lets you prove the product does what it was required to do. If you build one connection in your whole company, build this one. Link 2, PLM to ERP. The engineering bomb crosses into the business world. It becomes purchasing and cost reality. This is the E-bomb to M-bomb and supply chain transition we mapped in the deep dive. The value here isn't dumping the whole design into ERP. It's a controlled handover. exactly the data ERP needs to source and cost the product, with a clear ownership of which system masters what. Link 3, ERP to MES. The boundary ISO 95 obsesses over. ERP sends the production order down, MES sends back what was actually built. This is the link that turns a plan into proof. Get it clean and your shop floor and your business finally tell the same story. Link 4, the one most companies forget. MES back to PLM and ALM. The as-built reality feeds back to the design and requirements worlds. What actually got built, what deviated, what failed. Without this link, your design world lives in a fantasy of how things should be built. And it is disconnected from how they actually are. The loop is what makes the whole thing a thread, not a one-way street. Notice the shape of these four links. They form a loop. Requirements to design, design to business, business to execution, and back to the requirements. That loop is the real digital thread, not a web. A loop. Four clean links across four boundaries, each carrying specific owned data. That's an integration a small team can actually build and maintain. Everything else you leave as a boundary on purpose. And now the half nobody teaches. What to deliberately not connect. A boundary you keep on purpose as a feature, not a failure. Three kinds of connections to refuse. 1. Don't connect two systems so both think they own the same data. This is the cardinal sin ISO 95 warns you about. Say ERP and MES both believe they master inventory. Now you have two versions of the truth and a permanent reconciliation headache. Every piece of data needs exactly one owning system, one master. Connections should move data across the boundary. Ownership stays put. Blur the ownership and you've built a machine for generating disagreement. 2. Don't build connections just because they'd be convenient. It'd be nice if this dashboard could also pull from that system. Maybe, but every connection is a permanent maintenance liability. It breaks when either system changes. A connection has to earn its place by carrying real control or real value, not mild convenience. Convenience connections are how spaghetti grows. One harmless looking strand at a time. 3. Don't connect worlds you haven't put in order internally. If your PLM data is a mess, connecting it to ERP just spreads the mess faster. Now both systems are wrong in sync. Get control inside the world first, the module to work. Then connect it. Integration amplifies whatever you feed it. Connect order and you scale order. Connect chaos and you scale chaos. Here is a test you can run on any proposed connection. Steal it for your next architecture meeting. 4 questions. 1. Does this connection carry real control or real value across a boundary? Traceability, a baseline, proof of build, or just convenience? 2. Is the data ownership crystal clear? Exactly one master. The connection moves data, it doesn't duplicate authority. 3. Are both worlds in order internally? So we are connecting order to order, not spreading chaos. 4. Can our team actually maintain this when one system changes? Because it will. Pass all 4, build it. Fail any, it's not a connection. It's a future mess asking politely to be let in. Found the takeaway. Integration is not a giant platform you buy to connect everything. It's a small number of deliberate decisions. 4 clean links that form a loop, clear ownership of every piece of data, and the discipline to refuse connections that don't earn their place. Most of your integration value comes from getting 4 boundaries right, not from a million-pound mega project. And like everything in this course, the tool doesn't decide your boundaries. You do. The tool just enforces them. Tackle takeaway. Your job is to defend the boundaries, to be the person who says, no, we will not let both systems own that data. And no, that convenience connection isn't worth the maintenance debt. The pressure will always be to add more connections. Each one looks helpful on its own. Your value is knowing which four matter and protecting the fences around the rest. Good fences, specific gates. That's a connected operation a small team can actually run. So that's integration inside your own company. A loop of high-value links, clean boundaries, single ownership. But there is a harder version of this, connecting across organizations. When your design world has to exchange control data with a partner, a supplier, a prime contractor, a different company. Different systems, no shared master. That's where I've done some of my hardest integration work. And it's the next episode. Recap. There are four worlds. ALM is intent and proof. PLM is the design truth. ERP is business and money. MES is execution. The naive move is to connect everything and build spaghetti. More connections is less control. The skilled move is a loop of four high-value links. Requirements to design, design to business, business to execution, execution back to design. With clean boundaries and one owner per piece of data. And also, you refuse three things: duplicate ownership, convenience connections, and connecting chaos. Run the four question test before you wire anything. If this changed how you think about connecting your systems, subscribe. Next, we cross the company boundary. And in the comments, tell me which two of your systems currently both think they own the same data. That overlap is usually where your reconciliation pain is hiding.
Digital transformation time. Digital transformation time.